And we are live. How are we live? Yes, I think we're live. How are you doing, guys? How is everyone doing? Welcome to the live stream. My name is Sammy, watching live production tips and tools. And I hope everyone is having an amazing week. Actually, today's Friday, so happy Friday. Super excited today. If you're joining live, remember just say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. And of course, make sure you hit that like button. That's very important. And share the stream to someone that you think actually may enjoy this live stream. But other than that, I'm super excited today because we're going to be talking about mobile streaming. I've got the Yolobox Pro with me. I've actually had an experience with the yellow box last week. I took it out to shoot a wedding and actually to film and live stream a wedding, and I went really well. So I want to talk about it, but I also had a backup, which is my Acsoon Seemo little device that you can actually use to stream as well with your camera and your phone, your iPhone. So we're gonna be talking about that as well. But as always, if you have questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. Anything that relates to live streaming, video recording, anything, just drop it in the chat. Let me know. And I am actually super. I'm always super excited to chat with you guys when it comes to live streaming or answering your live streaming and video questions. So we've got somebody. We got Eugene. Eugene is a regular. Oh my God. Where's you? Oh, Eugene. There you go. My man Eugene is in the chat right here. Hello, Sam. Eugene from Goma, DRC. Welcome, my man Eugene. I appreciate you for being here. We got TR Tech from Mexico. TR Tech. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate you as always. Again, guys, feel free to ask questions anytime, anywhere in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer those. But if you have something that you want to share, if you own the yellow box, let me know, or the Acsoon Seemo, which is a little mobile device that will actually allow you to stream directly from your camera to the web without needing a computer. Let me know in the chat as well, because I would love to know. But other than that, if you're watching on a replay, make sure you actually drop a comment. Let me know if you have used any of these devices, and of course, make sure you hit the like button because that's actually helpful for the for YouTube to continue, because that tells YouTube that the video has some value and it keeps sharing to more people. So that's that. But other than that, we're gonna get started. I'm not gonna take much time, obviously. Again, as always, you guys can drop questions in the chat at any time during the live stream. We're gonna get started. So I'm gonna show you guys what I have actually. So my rig, I was shooting really a budget wedding, so it wasn't really something super like high-end production or anything. They simply wanted, like, when you filming a wedding and they want some people who could not attend or overseas, they want them to see what's going on, just to have an idea. So it's just streaming the reception and the ceremony. Okay, so of course, because I have the Yolobox Pro, which is a device that will allow you, let me just show you guys if it's the first time you see the Yolobox Pro. But even if it's not the first time, I just want to show you guys how I built my rig. So I use the Panasonic GH5. So this is the camera that I was using. I got a cage. I'm gonna show you how I actually rigged everything. It was super simple. But yeah, it looks simple, but it's not that simple at the same time. So let me switch to my overhead camera and just show you guys little quick what we're dealing with here. So this is my Yolobox Pro. So the cool thing about the Yolobox Pro is the fact that you can actually connect up to three HDMI inputs, and you have one USB input. So you can use this to bring in a webcam. So in my case, I was only using one camera. Again, this was just a budget wedding. So we were two guys filming the wedding. By the way, one angle that I was using to film was actually I was recording at the same time internally into my camera, right? So I can keep that file as a second angle. So when I'm editing, I'm using one of the angles and then had another guy filming another angle. So we got two angles for the wedding. Okay. And then we have obviously Ethernet cable input. I did not use this one. Again, it's on the go. So I have the camera on a tripod. I actually use a monopod. I mean, my philosophy is really every time I'm shooting a wedding, I want to keep it as simple as possible, right? As minimal as possible. I don't want to be going around with like heavy tripods. In fact, I had the monopod. I don't know. It's down here. Maybe I'm gonna show you. And then you have your HDMI output, which is something that you can use in a studio. Maybe if you want to output into something else or a big screen for mobile streaming, I don't think you need this HDMI output. And then you have USB Type C. This is mostly for connecting, sending the signal to a computer if you're using a computer, which is something if you're doing mobile, you're probably not going to be using it. And we have the mic input, headphones jack to be able to monitor your audio. And then you have two mic inputs, and then you have USB for charging. So USB in for charging the Yolobox. Now, I wasn't using it, was not plugged in, and that's something we're gonna talk about because one of the beauty of the Yolobox Pro is the fact that it has a built-in battery. So I was actually running the whole time, the entire time I was running on a battery, and actually it did it. I did about 4 hours of streaming. So I did, the church was like an hour and 30 minutes, and then the church was an hour and 30 minutes, and then the reception was about 2 hours, and yeah, about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I did the entire time, although I had to come up with some tips that I'm gonna be sharing with you guys on how I did it. And of course, I had, because they promised me to give me access to Wi-Fi, but when I get there, I couldn't use their Wi-Fi. It was super complicated to connect. So always have a backup. If you want to shoot, the client may promise you to give you access to internet, but the beauty of the yellow box is you have a way to actually insert an actual SIM card. So I have a spare SIM card that I always use and have data on that SIM card. So I was able to use actually my own SIM card. And at the same time, I was able to tether some, get my internet, my friends, my photographer or my partner who was taking pictures had a good plan. So I was able to actually tether his internet from his phone into the yellow box. And I mean, the stream was at some point it started dropping some frames, but it wasn't really that bad, for like 3 hours the stream was smooth, no dropping frames or anything, which is great. So that's pretty much it. So I was just using one camera, this camera right here, and I got this little cage on it. Cage, I think it cost me about $30. And as you can see, this is what it looks like, the little cage, right? Something super super simple. And what the cage allows me to do is, because with the yellow box now, I can go ahead and actually use this little cord shoe adapter here, right, that comes with the yellow box, and I can actually attach on the top of my camera just like this. Super super simple, nothing complicated. I didn't even have to attach it on the cage, because I could attach it here. The cage comes with this little cold shoe kind of adapter, but the thing is with the yellow box, because the yellow box is a little heavy, right? So I wanted to have it in the middle, so kind of like balance, something like this, right? So that's how I did it. I put it in the middle, but then the next challenge is where I'm gonna have the microphone, because I'm on the go. Okay, so what I did is I had this little adapter here, if you guys can see it, right? So I attached it on the front, something like this. All right, just like this. Let's go. No, I think it was the opposite. Let me show you my microphone first, because I was just using a little shotgun mic from Comica, so just getting the room sound. I'm just gonna show you guys what it looked like. Right, so I was using just this low profile microphone from Comica, just plug in like this. Um, has this little shock mount. All right. So and this goes on the top here, on the top of the camera. Just wanna show you a little quick. Boom. Toot, 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 toot. Yeah, this little mounting thing actually does a good job. I took it from my running AM. I used to use it to mount a monitor. All right, something like this. Boom. So this is what it looked like. So if you guys can see it, let me just maybe switch to this angle so you guys can see. Right. So it looked like this. Obviously, this is not the lens that I was using. All right, something like this, which is cool. So now I got the mic. Okay, I had another mic, but when when I tried to use that mic and I was getting some interference, which is weird. So I don't know. I don't know what happened, honestly. Okay, so now the challenge was to attach the yellow box. So the yellow box easily connected like this. So you go ahead and actually mount it so I can show you guys. We got Jean Lee in the chat. How you doing? We got Vo from Canada. How you doing, my friend? Where are you in Canada? I'm in Canada too. Um, who else we have? Tiara Tech says I have an Acsoon Seemo and I have done some live streaming tests, but sometimes the audio sounds oversaturated. Have you had the same experience? Yes and no. I'm gonna give you a tip. I know why it's happening. I may have an idea. But if you don't mind, just drop in the chat. Let me know how you connecting your audio. Just let me know. Just give me an idea. Um, yeah, I had the. I don't think it's the Accsoon Seemo problem. But I may be able to give you some tips in a moment. Yeah, so this is how I was running it, guys. This is super simple. This is the rig. Okay, obviously I've got a cable coming from the microphone going to the GH5, right, into here, and that's pretty much it. The yellow box, no wires. I got it, just a short HDMI cable going into the yellow box. So now I'm able to see what's going on here on the monitor, and I'm able to use my yellow box no problem. I can use a SIM card to connect to internet. I can use an actual Wi-Fi if you have access to Wi-Fi. And I had a monopod. The whole thing was actually on a monopod because I wanted to be able to move around. Okay. The GH5 has a great in-body stabilization, so the picture was really stable. I was using a lens I was using. I was actually using the Sigma 18 to 35. So, because I wanted to kind of zoom in, obviously with an adapter to be able to zoom in and out a little bit, just to have that flexibility. But because it was a one angle streaming, I was super, super careful and that was very smooth, right? But other than that, as you can see, this is a simple rig, easy, and you can take it anywhere. The streaming was amazing. The Halobox has a great application. So the streaming, I mean, if you want to, you can stream on YouTube, Facebook. I actually figured there was a cool thing that I was able to do that I didn't know I could do. So you could pause your stream. In fact, if I wanted to pause my stream, there's a way that you just in the yellow box, you can simply pause, hit end, and then pause it. And the viewer, what they see is like the picture is going to kind of freeze a little bit. And then once you, let's say, if you want to transition from one, I don't know, something to, or maybe you want to change the battery in your camera, you can actually do so. Pause the stream, change the battery, and then hit go live again. And it's gonna continue from the frame where you left it off. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And people watching won't even notice. It's like Like people who are going to watch the replay, they're not gonna notice that you paused it, because it's gonna be like it's like a cut. It's like, you cut and then you added another angle or something, which is awesome. Anyways, let me check out the chat before I go too far. Um, so Eugene says great. Um, okay, Tiara Take. I'm gonna give you some tips in a moment for sure. Hope you stick around. Hosa Praise TV says, hello, good evening from Hosa House of Praise TV. How can I join three phones at the same time for live streaming? Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. So, three phones. I'm assuming you're using iPhones. Um, there's multiple ways to do it depending on your budget. Yeah, that's okay. That's the biggest problem with me, or with just live streaming or tech in general. There's so many ways to do it that I don't know which way to actually suggest you. But the first way that I would actually recommend would be if you're using an iPhone or iPhones. You could use a switcher, an actual physical switcher, something like the ATEM Mini Pro, and use there's a little adapter that you can buy. I believe it's called, let me check if I can find it right now. um, I believe it's called, let's see, it's called Apple AV adapter, I believe. Yeah, I think this is the one, Lightning to HDMI. So this little adapter here, this is what it looks like. So it's gonna um you can use this little adapter and connect with an actual HDMI cable from your phone into something like the ATEM Mini or the ATEM Mini Pro. Now, that's going to be the more professional way. Now, with this, you're going to need also, as you can see, cost $65. You're going to also need an app called Filmic Pro. All right, so this is what the app is gonna look like. Okay, now you have the app is available on both Android and App Store, right? Okay, with this app is going to allow you to control your phone, control things like exposure, focus, white balance, which is important. You need to nail your white balance because that's going to allow you to match your iPhone. I mean, like different phones, like white balances and stuff. You don't want to be, if you're using three phones, you don't want to be using auto white balance. It's not gonna be a good idea, right? So yeah, get the Filmic Pro, get the little adapter that will convert your lightning output into HDMI, and then get a switcher, something like the ATEM Mini. You don't have to get the ATEM Mini Pro if you have a computer. Get the ATEM Mini and then send it to your computer and you're good to go, right? That was gonna be like the most professional, reliable way. Now, another way of doing it that I don't really recommend if you want something stable is to use applications that will allow you to connect to send the signal directly from your phone into OBS. And then you can use an application called iRyan. This is a free application. It's called iRyan Webcam. And this one right here, I think it's this one, iRyan. Yeah, this is the one. So you're gonna download it into your computer. It works with Windows and Mac, and then you're gonna have to download also into your actual phone. So every time you turn on your phone, you open the application, the actual OBS is going to see your phones as a camera, right? Now, I have never tried to connect multiple iPhones at the same time or multiple phones at the same time with this application, but I have used it. I've recommended to people. People use it to kind of live stream on Facebook and YouTube, and it works. But it wouldn't be because it's wireless. I wouldn't recommend it on a long term kind of usage, right? So just use it for first time, second time, few times, but don't rely on it. Like, I wouldn't rely on it 100%. I would say, this should be your short-term kind of solution, while you actually look into a long-term solution. Now, another way you can actually do it, you could use an application called Switcher Studio. If you use iPhones, of course. I don't think it works with Switcher Studio. I have never used this application, but Switcher Studio, what it does, it's going to allow you to connect multiple iPhones, and it's going to give you an app, as you can see on this ad here, that you can use to even switch multiple iPhones at the same time. This app is the way it looks. Actually, they have integrated the Acsoon Seemo, so that's going to allow you to even like bring in an actual camera if you have the Acsoon Seemo through an iPhone, of course. So this is another solution. This is gonna be more reliable, but of course it comes with a price, and the pricing matter. Unfortunately, it's monthly, so you're paying $50. The basic tier is $49 per month. And then if you go to business, you're gonna have to pay like almost $100. So again, depends on your budget, it depends on how much you want to invest in your stream. But in my opinion, if I wanted to use my phones, maybe instead of paying $50 a month, I would invest into those little adapters by Apple, and then use invest in something like the A10 Mini. You don't have to get the A10 Mini Pro, which is a physical switcher, and that's gonna allow you to connect multiple phones. And eventually, once you upgrade to real cameras, you're gonna keep your switcher and then replace your phones, or you're gonna keep some phones and then add cameras, and you're gonna keep switching multiple angles. So that's my advice for using multiple phones. I hope that was helpful. All right. Let's see. Before I go to the next question, da-da-da, let's get my friend TR Tech. You have the Accsoon Seemo. Okay, so guys, we talked about the Yolobox. Now I just show you my rig. Super simple. It went well. The only thing that I had to do, by the way, I had to because I was afraid I was gonna run out of battery. At some point I had to decrease the brightness on the yellow box, because obviously if you want to save some battery, the screen is amazing, by the way. It's super bright, but I had to lower the brightness at some point just to make sure I kind of save the battery. And I was monitoring because I was using only one camera, so I didn't have to look at the yellow box that much. So I was just monitoring through my phone's LCD screen. And some point, again, when I wanted to change the battery in my phone, I would just like pause my stream for a few minutes, actually not even few, for like a minute, change the battery, because the way the rig is made, I can actually change the battery no problem, and then I'll go back live, and then the viewers wouldn't even notice. So it was just amazing. I think the yellow box is a great device. Now, of course, the yellow box cost over $1,000. I think it's 13 or $1,100, something like that. Not everybody can afford that, especially if you want to stream mobile without needing a computer. Because back in the day, we used to carry, I have the A10 Mini Pro. If I wanted to do a gig like that, I would have to carry the A10 Mini Pro with a computer, maybe a laptop, or like just too much, and then connect with the HDMI cables from the A10 Mini Pro to the computer. Just too much. But with the yellow box, just on the go on your monopod, boom, you're live, man. It's just amazing. All right, next up we got the Accsoon Seemo. Now, this is what it looks like if you guys don't know, and of course I'm gonna answer your question, my friend Tiara Tech. So the Accsoon Seemo is gonna allow you to, where's my phone? I can't even find my phone. But what it does is, this is just a little device. Let me show you a little quick. I need to fix my stream deck. So this is what it looks like, guys. Okay. And it uses this NPF Sony batteries. They just connect. Again, I got this huge one, but you can get a smaller one. All right. And then you're going to connect your iPhone. It has an app that with these little cables here, you're going to use one of the cables you could use it, by the way, with an iPad as well. So this one works with iOS. Boom, video out. There's a little video out here, and this is gonna connect your iPhone. So you're gonna have your iPhone in here. I don't know where I put my iPhone. Give me a second. Let me bring my phone here. There we go. So I got my iPhone here. Uh, so what you do is just gonna put your phone here, something like this. Boom, and this is not the right cable. This is a USB Type C cable, so it's not the right cable. This is if you're using an iPhone. So it's gonna come this if you're using an iPad. For iPhone, you have Lightning, boom, and then from video out, something like this. So now what this one does is from here I can count. It comes with this little mount. So from here, now I can mount on the top of my camera. The same concept like what I did with the Yolobox. Now the difference is the Yolobox is huge, right? And this little one is very small, right? So as you can see, this is the Yolobox. Let me take it down, and then I'm gonna replace it with this little device here, and you're gonna see the difference in sizes. You can actually use the same mount. All right. So now, of course, the microphone is probably gonna have to go, or maybe find a way. There we go. So now, as you can see, this is what it looks like, right? Now the microphone, of course, I'm gonna have to do some adjustments for the microphone, but the microphone could simply be like this. There we go. So I got a solution for the microphone because the battery was in the way. All right, this is not perfect, but I would easily replace the microphone. So this is what it looks like, guys. So I put the microphone on the side like this because the battery is super, super huge, but I could easily mount the microphone actually here because I have another cold shoe adapter. So let me just show you on the this angle here. So I have another cold shoe on the cage here that I could actually use to mount the microphone, right? So now, as you can see, this is super, super simple. It's an easy setup, and it's gonna work well. Okay, so where's the comment? There you go. Okay, so now, of course, you got your HDMI cable going into the Accsoon Seemo adapter. And what it's going to do is, because you got the app, the Accsoon app from the phone, by the way, I have a full video about it. If you guys, this is your first time checking me out, checking out the Accsoon Seemo, I have a full video on how to do it. So the good thing about the Accsoon Seemo is super, super small, portable, and it's actually under $200. Okay. However, the difference is it's not gonna come with all the juicy stuff because this you got an application, you got a streaming application built into the Yolobox, and you got multiple HDMI angles. For this one, you only have one HDMI input, And of course, you're gonna use your phone with the Acsoon app, and you don't have titles, you don't have intros, you don't have anything. You're just gonna go live. Again, there's a full video about it. I even did a live stream here in my studio using it, everything. If you guys are interested, I can drop the links in the chat for you to kind of take a look. So this was my plan B. This was my kind of backup plan, and it works well. Now for audio, of course, same goes with the Yolobox Pro. Is you're gonna have to use the audio that comes from the HDMI. So your HDMI cable, because HDMI can carry video and audio, it's gonna come from here into the device, and then that's how you're getting the audio into the stream. Now you plug in your microphone into, or your line out from any audio source into your microphone, into your camera's microphone, and then your camera's microphone is actually sending the embedded audio to the stream. That's why. So because some cameras don't have good preamps, they may clip. That's why my friend Tiara Tech, maybe that's why you were having issues with audio, is because depending on the camera that you're using, if the camera does have good limiter, compression kind of, audio kind of system built into it, you may have issues. That's why for me, when I'm streaming, because you're using analog audio. So the other day when I was streaming, I'm using an interface called the Vocaster One. That's how I'm running this microphone. And I was using headphones out into the camera, no, into actually the ATEM Mini Pro. And then from the ATEM Mini Pro, the ATEM Mini Pro was sending an HDMI out into my Accsoon Seemo, and of course HDMI is bringing audio. So I was using mic one on the ATEM Mini Pro, so the analog audio output, and I mean audio input. And if the preamps on the ATEM Mini Pro cannot handle the signal coming in, if the signal maybe is a little too high and there's no compression, the compression is not being done right, or the limiter, right, because you have the limiter to kind of compress your levels. If like they try to go too high to clip, then that's where you're gonna start having issues, unfortunately, because the connection is not that wow. Usually, like, if you're using something like XLR is kind of more stable. But if you're using these TRS cables kind of connections, yeah, you're gonna have, sometimes if you're not watching your levels, you may kind of have some clipping issues. So that's probably the problem that you had. So in my opinion, what I would say, try to get, I don't know how you running your audio. If you have a mobile rig like this one, try to have your audio kind of maybe coming from an actual microphone, just a microphone like this. Usually these kind of microphones will be handled well with a camera, like, any mirrorless camera should have to have like good preamps that are going to handle, apply some limiter on the signal, just to make sure you get a balanced signal. However, if you're using something like a mixer, and then maybe you're taking headphones out into the camera, you have to do the compression within that unit. Make sure the levels coming out of the mixer, going into the camera, or going into something like the ATEM Mini Pro, are actually all the levels and everything, the compression, the limiter, everything's applied. So the levels are already stable. So the camera or the ATEM Mini Pro, or any device that you may be using to bring in audio, doesn't have to do any extra work. That's probably why you were having issues. So let me know if I was actually helpful. So if you were asking if I had the same experience, yes, I did. And I had to kind of balance with my interface, try to lower the signal, apply a little bit of compression in case, because sometimes you scream, right? You like, hey, or somebody maybe you filming other people, and then at some point they're going to scream. So if you don't have any sort of compression going on somewhere at some point in your audio chain, then that's where you're gonna start having some issues. So that's probably why. All right. So Hosa Praise TV, I think we got your question. And Vaughn from Canada, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you being here. We got Jean from New York. By the way, Jean, you didn't win. Oh, I'm so sorry. But guys, by the way, if this is your first time, we have been doing a giveaway on my website. We gave away my PTZ camera here. So this is going to be shipped to someone next week. This is the AVCAN's PTZ camera. So somebody won it. I'm gonna show you um, what happened is actually here on my website. I'll just show you a little quick. Uh, just here, I'm just gonna show you a giveaway. So you wanna make sure you join my Facebook group because it's free to join. Because we're gonna be doing more giveaways. So if you're not part of my Facebook group, you wanna be able to join. Because if you go to my website liveproductiontips.com and then you go to giveaways, we actually did a giveaway. It ended on April 30th. We got 8 entries, and the prize was this camera right here, the AVCAN's 20x PTZ camera, and the winner was actually Jeremiah. So he actually claimed the camera, and we're gonna be shipping it next week. So guys, make sure you join my Facebook group. Very, very important if you want to be part of the amazing giveaways. Obviously, we're gonna be doing some time to time, and of course you need to be, let me just click on it here, show you what it looks like. Of course, you also can ask questions. All these questions that you're actually asking on the stream, you can ask them in the community here on my Facebook group, and we're gonna be able to answer those and help you anytime. So that's that. All right, let's see who else we have in the chat. So my man, thank you so much for being here. As always, I appreciate you. Hosa Praise, hello, good evening from okay, we already answered this one. Hello, we got Edward, my man Edward. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Edward actually has a great podcast. He's starting a podcast on YouTube. So guys, if you like podcast style content, check out Edward here on youtube.com. I think it's called The Social Path. So check him out. Thank you, my man, for joining. We got the Tribe. Tribe is a regular. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you for joining us today, my man. um, we got the Tribe says hit the like button. That's right, hit the like button. That's very, very important. If you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, make sure you hit that like button. TR Tech says thank you, no problem, my friend. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I would love to see your setup. So if you part of my group, you can actually go ahead and just drop like quick picture of your setup. I would love to see it in the Facebook group, and maybe we can have some, discussion and see if there's how a way to actually help you or maybe solve the problem that you may be having for sure. So yeah. So guys, let me know if you have any other questions. Of course, as we wrap up the stream, this is the time to actually drop those questions, those last minute questions. Again, anything live streaming, video, let me know what kind of cameras do you guys use. I'm gonna be super busy this summer, probably shooting at that. Even like tomorrow, I think I'm shooting a wedding, not a wedding, a concert, and I'm gonna be using my GH5 on a gimbal. So let me know what kind of cameras that you guys use. Although I would love to upgrade to full frame, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so other than that, guys, I think again I have both devices just to give you my insights to what I think about both devices. So I have the Accsoon Seemo. I think the Accsoon Seemo is amazing. Again, you can use it to monitor as well. If you are a filmmaker and you want to kind of be able to use this as a monitor with your camera, you can do it, which is awesome. But other than that, it's an amazing device. Now, there's something that actually they did with Switcher Studio. Now, I haven't tried Switcher Studio, although it may be super useful for a lot of people, especially if you want to use multiple HDMI, multiple iPhones to stream. You can actually try Switcher Studio and actually let us know what you think, because it's an app that will allow you to switch wirelessly actually multiple multiple iPhones. So now with the Acsoon Seemo, because the Acsoon Seemo is an iPhone kind of app, you could actually connect your camera, and then the camera is sending an HDMI signal into the phone, and the phone is sending the signal into Switcher Studio. So now you can have the Switcher Studio on your app, on your like iPad or anything, and have access to an actual mirrorless camera, maybe switch it with some other iPhones, which is great. So I don't know if any of you guys is using Switcher Studio. I would be interested to actually know how you like it. Again, personally, I have never used it, and maybe at some point I'm gonna try it and see, because I have two iPhones now. I think I can actually get more than two iPhones, so I can connect maybe three iPhones at the same time and see actually how the app does, because it's actually interesting. So now I'm leaning towards some mobile streaming solutions, because I think this is gonna be the future. Again, back in the day, to go to stream, I used to carry something. I mean, I own a TriCaster, a TC40 TriCaster. So it was super, super hard. And I actually had to charge a lot of money to clients. And most of the time, they could not afford it because it was too much to carry. I had to carry the unit, which is like a computer, have a screen kind of monitor, and have a keyboard, have a mouse. That it was like a streaming station. No Wi-Fi. I had to have access to an actual Ethernet connection, and then have to have multiple cameras, maybe two cameras, because if you having a switcher like that, you kind of have to switch multiple cameras. And then the 810 mini and the 810 mini pro kind of came along. Again, you still need a laptop or some sort of computer to use the 810 mini pro on the go. Maybe you could get away by using a computer, but you still have to plug it, so it's not fully mobile, and you have to carry a computer. But now with the Yolobox, you can simply go with a small screen, right? Go out with a small screen like this, boom, take it out anywhere, anytime, be able to stream with your phone, with your phone's data, with Wi-Fi or a SIM card, boom, be able to go live on multiple platforms in full HD. Eventually, maybe it's gonna start being available in 4K, which is great. So this is the future. Now, again, this is over $1,000 with the Accsoon Seemo, just a little adapter with my iPhone for under $200. I'm actually able to go live anywhere, anytime with my phone's internet data or Wi-Fi, which is super, super easy. So this is even simpler than the YOLO box. Obviously, it's not gonna give you all the juicy features, like be able to do some scoreboard, or if you're doing sports, or like have a built-in application where you can have access to your chat and stuff like that. The Acsoon Seemo is not there yet, but what I see, because now they have partnered with Switcher Studio, I think they're gonna give access this. They're gonna give this feature or this kind of technology to other streaming apps. Like I know there's to Streamlabs mobile, and there's a Prism Studio that does mobile streaming with some cool features, including the chat. So if you have access to Acsoon Seemo app with an actual camera and an application like that, then you have a full streaming studio inside your iPhone, right? Access to cameras like this one, mirrorless or DSLR, right? With just your iPhone and the little device that costs less than $200, that you can take anywhere, no computer needed, and you're gonna be able to stream for clients. Clients are going to be happy. You're gonna be able to stream for yourself, your own content. Man, this is the future. This is the future, and everything mobile, no cables, no connecting, to power, Ethernet cables and stuff like that. None of that. None of that. 100% mobile. So this is the future, and live streaming is actually getting super, super accessible. All right, let's see. TR Take, what's up? Are you using what setup? I thought you say WhatsApp. What setup are you using for live streaming right now? So my live streaming, I'm gonna have to install a camera back there so I can show you behind the scenes of my streaming. But what I have, I'm using Streamlabs, which is a free software. It's like OBS, but that's the Streamlabs version. And yeah, that allows me to stream to multiple platforms when I want, because I have the paid version. If you have the free version, you can stream only on one platform at a time. And yeah, I'm using this microphone. This is the my DIY Shure SM7B. I have a video, I'm working on it. I don't want to talk much about it, but I'm using this microphone. This is an XLR microphone. It's connected into my Vocaster One, which is an interface that's sending USB Type C into my computer, and that's how I'm getting audio through Streamlabs. All right. And then my camera, I'm using the ATEM Mini Pro to connect multiple cameras. So I have my overhead camera, which is this one right here. And I have my ATEM Mini Pro, obviously. So getting two signal, two HDMI cameras. And I have one extra input that I can input actually my computer, and can input anything else that I want into the ATEM Mini Pro, because it can take up to 4 cameras. So I got the ATEM Mini Pro as a switcher, and I'm using the USB option into Streamlabs to be able to give you guys this. Now for this angle, because I have another angle here, the overhead angle, it's kind of a hack the way I'm doing it, because you can't have access on cameras with the ATEM Mini Pro. You can't have access to both cameras because it comes in as one signal, right? So I had to split one of the cameras to be able to get this extra kind of angle coming in as a separate input or separate USB input. So I'm using an extra capture card. So my camera number 2, which is my overhead camera here, which is the Panasonic Lumix GX85. What I'm doing is I'm splitting that signal into two. One signal goes into the into my ATEM Mini Pro, and the other signal is actually being captured by an actual capture card into Streamlabs as well. So I have this camera is coming in twice, and that's how I'm able to kind of hack this angle right here, like the overhead, to be able to have both pictures on at the same time. Because you could do it with the ATEM Mini Pro, you could use the picture in picture, but it's not customizable, and I don't like it. It doesn't it looks so tiny, and when you try to adjust it and make it look better, it's just too much. The software is not that great for doing this kind of stuff. So that's my setup. Again, if you guys have questions, eventually I can do a stream where I can actually give you just a full um tour of my studio. And of course I've got some monitors. So I'm using a computer to do all the stuff. I've got 3 monitors. One monitor, which is my main monitor, the one that I'm sharing, and I got another monitor running the second monitor running Streamlabs, so you guys can see it when I share my screen. And I got another uh, monitor in portrait mode that's for you guys to see for me to see the chat. I can see the chat in Streamlabs, but if you want to see the chat, especially like on a big screen, I have that monitor for that. That's pretty much it. But eventually I think I'm gonna do a full tour of my studio. So let me know, guys, if you have questions or if you're curious about my setup. I'll be more than happy to share. Which phone can I use apart from iPhone in live streaming? Well, you could use any phone. You could use an iPhone. You could use Android phones. Any latest phone should do that has a camera should do. Most of the newest phones, like not like a 5 years, 5 years old phone, maybe something like 4 years, 3 years, kind of newer, latest phone should do the job. It could be Samsung, could be um, LG, could be like any Android phone. Sorry, or an iPhone should do. Just make sure they have a good camera check out some reviews. And of course, yeah, just make sure they have good cameras. Mostly make sure they probably can handle 4K, even though you may not use 4K. But if the camera can handle 4K, or the phone can record in 4K, it probably has a good camera, right? Check out the megapixels and all the good stuff. I don't want to get into too much details, but that's probably, you want to get the latest, some of the latest, like the iPhone 12 is good, iPhone 11 actually is good, iPhone XR is good, iPhone 13 is good, iPhone 14, I mean, that's like the newest, I believe, the latest. And then, yeah, and then you can go for Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy S32, no, S22. I'm not good with Android phones anymore. I used to own Android, but now I switched to iPhone. So I'm like, I can't even know which one is the best right now on the market. But any phone, even your iPad, something just, newer, uh, that's on the market right now should do the job. Just try, or the phone that you're using right now, just try it and see if you're getting a good image. But most of the time, what you need really is to you need to really have a good lighting. So good, your lighting is the key, right? If your lighting is not good, the picture or the video, the stream is just gonna look bad. So your lighting is the key. Your lighting, even if you use a mirrorless camera like this one, if your lighting is not good, then it's not worth it. Just gonna look bad. So yeah, your lighting is everything. All right, let's see. Probably this is gonna be the last question. Eugene says, which one has the best output between the Yolobox and the ATEM Mini Pro? Um, I don't know what you mean by output. I don't know if you mean like the picture quality. I think they're both the same. I think they use. I mean, they both use H.264 encoder, and the picture quality, in my opinion, is the same. Now that the if you're streaming, all right, if you're streaming, because you got the signal coming from the USB. So the Yellow Box has the USB option that you can send into your computer for something like OBS, or any streaming software or Zoom calls and stuff like that. The 8 Mini Pro has the same thing. So the webcam output, in my opinion, I tried both. I couldn't see any major difference. So I say it's fairly the same, right? And then when it comes to HMI output, same thing. I think the same quality. I mean, I don't really get into details of, like, every little detail of how crispy or how, like, nice it looks. But in general, it's gonna be a usable stream. You just, whatever you send it to it is what you're gonna receive, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to live streaming, it's a little different because it's going to depend on your internet connection and then your bit rate, or your data rate, bit rate, data rate, yeah, something like that. So on the YOLO box, you have the option to choose how many, like the bit rate you want to send your, like how much data you want to upload to the stream. Now, if your internet connection is good, you can increase your bit rate, and that means better quality, right? So you can, of course, like, depends on if you're streaming on YouTube has some guidelines. They will tell you what's the maximum bit rate that you can send or you can push to the live stream. So with the yellow box, it's gonna give you those options, and you can choose if you have a good internet connection. If you're streaming over Wi-Fi, you probably wanna lower. If your internet speed is lower, is not that high, then you can lower the bit rate that you're actually uploading to the internet. So, like, to be honest, just gonna be, the yellow box has a great picture. I'm not gonna go here, like, I'm not gonna be here and start complaining about the picture quality. The 8 Mini Pro as well, it's good. They're both good, in my opinion. They're both good. All right, don't worry about the quality. I think it's the same. To be honest, it's almost the same. That should not be um the main factor for you deciding which one to get. However, if you ask me which one would you get or which one would you recommend, I'll say it depends on what you're trying to do. Like last week, I was trying to shoot a wedding and film a wedding and stream it on the go. Well, the Yolobox was the best solution for that. If I'm streaming a sports event outdoors, I think the Yolobox is gonna be the best option for that. Why? Because it's got a built-in battery, it's portable, and then it can use Wi-Fi. You can use Wi-Fi on the Airtel Mini Pro, and then you can use your SIM card. So many options. So it's portable. That's the definition. That's a portable switcher streaming studio. That's Yolobox. Is it more expensive? Yes, it's more expensive than the ATM Mini Pro. Now, the ATM Mini Pro is gonna give you more inputs, and it's gonna allow you to stream on the go, but it's not fully on the go. You need a computer, because if you're using USB out, you need to connect into a computer and be able to actually use a software like OBS or any other streaming software if you want to use, because the ATEM Mini Pro can stream on its own, but you still have to configure the stream using something like a laptop to access your YouTube studio. And in most cases, you can have to hit the go live button on your computer to be able to go live with the ATEM Mini Pro. So you need to have some sort of computer with the ATEM Mini Pro, and you have to have some sort of power source, and on the top of that, it can use Wi-Fi or SIM card. So it's not fully mobile. That's the main difference. In my opinion, it's like it's portable, but it's not a mobile streaming solution. You need to be in a studio, to be in a place where you have access to power and internet and stuff like that. It doesn't have a monitor. You need something to monitor your inputs, right? That's something you have to carry. While for the YOLO box, it's already a monitor, so you don't need an extra monitor for it. So that's like the main difference, to be honest. So I hope that's kind of helpful. Before we end the stream, Eugene says thank you, and House of Praise TV says thank you guys for joining again. I appreciate you being here. As always, make sure you hit that like button, share the stream to someone that you think may actually enjoy it. But other than that, I appreciate you guys, and make sure, if you're not part of my Facebook group, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat so you guys can actually go ahead and join. All right, let's just go ahead and drop it in the chat for you guys little quick before we end the stream. So just drop the link to my Facebook group. So make sure you join. It's free. I don't sell you anything. It's just to be able to access to me and the rest of the community. So anytime you can ask questions, I'm gonna be dropping some updates about things like this when I'm out and about filming stuff and testing few gear. In fact, tomorrow I'm gonna be taking that camera right there, which is a PTZ camera that I was sent to me by Panasonic, and we're gonna be testing it out in a church environment for a month. And I'm gonna bring the results, the footage, the all the stuff that we're gonna take from that church, their feedback, and see actually what can you do with that kind of PTZ camera. This is a high-end PTZ camera, and I have another kind of cheaper PTZ camera from AV Cams that we're gonna be sending out as well to your church to do some testing. So all those things, I'm gonna be probably dropping some information in the group, in the Facebook group, for you guys to just react or see things like in real time. So if you wanna join, I think it would be a great idea to be part of the group, ask your questions anytime, have access to me, and of course to the rest of the community, you guys, your friends, like all the people may be live right, I mean, in the chat right now, so you can ask questions, share your personal experiences, about different streaming equipment, cameras, and stuff like that. Sometimes it helps before you make a purchasing decision to actually get to access somebody who's been using that device or that equipment to give you their feedback or their experience, so you know before you actually make a decision. So that's that. But other than that, guys, I do appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully I'm gonna see you next week on another video or another live stream. Again, my name is Sam, and again, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Yeah, today is Friday. Yeah, so have a great Friday. Have a great Friday and have a great weekend. All right, see you guys next time.